real quick, I know the Serbs have a gritty side, right? There's a couple movies out like "Don't Fuck with the Serbs," right? They got like a mafia, or I don't know if you can talk on it, but I've seen that before. How like you don't mess with the Serbs.
No, Rob, only one person rules me. It's God. I'm not scared about the Serbs or the Albanians
Yeah.
or anybody. You know that, right? So, 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 it's do or die, man. Either way you're gonna die, right? So I'm not really scared
Yeah.
to die. But let me tell you something. But the Serbs, I thought the same thing, that they were racist. Like when I see, I'm a brown man, right? So when I go to
Yeah.
Serbia, I mean, especially when I go to the Serbian villages there, my son lives in central Serbia called Charchak. I'm the only brown one there. Everybody is white, and so far I've been going there multiple times. People have been nice to me. They kind of look at me funny because I'm obviously a little bit different. But other than that, they've been nice to me. They've been polite to me. They've been very hospitable. They're nice people. It's not how the media, you know, portrays them to be. It's just like
Mm.
it's crazy because the media portrays them as big bad wolves, like they're bad people and all that in the movies and all that. But no, man, they're really nice people.
Easily I approach the fifth of him because I ain't no joke.
Got it. We're done.
Got it. Go for it.
All right. Episode number 34. This is going to be a quickie. Just want to touch on some of the prevailing topics out there. So first and foremost, Rob, what's your stance on war?
War. Yeah.
Good God.
I don't know. This isn't really a war, right? This is just like a battle. What do you call this right now?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of like the big dog on the schoolyard versus like his cousin that doesn't want to pay up. Doesn't want to pay the rent on the, whatever the schoolyard policy is. So
Hey,
that's
speaking of that, we're kind of looking for guests and stuff. So if there's any, maybe this is too aggressive, but there's any Russians or Ukrainians or any type of European out there that wants to put out their feedback or be on the show, if you got some connection to what's going on, message us, DM us. We gladly have you on and share your thoughts. Yeah.
Right. And in all honesty, too, like we're not trying to act like idiots. It's just
Yeah.
this is it's a very family sort of what's the other word, like nationality / cultural sort of thing that obviously a lot of us as Americans or other people outside of that area probably don't understand the depth of it. So
I barely understand why Russia even attacked or is trying to invade, right? I'm sure there's a lot more than what the news is telling us.
Right. And who better to tell it than somebody from there and not necessarily.
Or maybe there's somebody, and this is another extreme point of view, but if there's anybody for it, if there's any Russians out there that are for it and think Putin's doing the right thing, then we'll have you on too.
Right.
No, we just want to get your feedback real quick on what's going on there in Europe. I know you just landed from Europe.
Yeah, I just got back on the 22nd.
What's going on out there? What's the finger on the pulse of what's going on?
I'm sorry, you're cutting off. What were you saying?
What's going on, or what's the after effect there with everything going on with Russia and Ukraine?
Yeah, so when I was there, it was just before the 22nd, and in fact, before I left to see my son. I'm more in Central Asia. That's more like Eastern Central Asia, where Serbia is. That's the Balkans.
Wow.
But right now, Ukraine is a little bit more, about 3 or 4 countries to the north towards Russia. So there's Serbia, there's Hungary, there's Romania, and then then Ukraine. But before I left, I was talking to one of the top professors from Stanford, and he told me, hey Sanjay, I wouldn't call any names, but he actually lives in our apartment complex. You might even know him. So he told me, hey, if you're going to Europe, you should just do it before the 22nd, because as soon as the Winter Olympics is over, when Putin goes back to Russia, he's going to attack. And that's exactly what happened, man. I just
Wow.
got back on the 22nd, bro. Yeah, it's
So
crazy.
this somebody
Yeah.
we know slightly, or he knew it. He had a heads up on it. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. This guy is almost eight. This guy is almost 80 plus, and he's two PhDs from Stanford, a PhD from Caltech. So this guy is, he's super into geopolitics, man.
wow.
You know.
So a lot of
Yeah.
people though are Ukrainians are going into Europe, right? They're fleeing into Europe area.
They're already there.
Yeah,
But
so right now they're actually fleeing into all the closer borders, like like Poland and stuff like that. But I mean, I think Putin is done, man. I think he made the wrong move, because everybody's watching. It's a free world. Governments can't control us no more. It's all about the people now. So like, the media is covering it. I think he kind of dipped his own grave, man. He's done, man. I think he's done.
I
Yeah.
was watching CNN earlier. They said that he could have mental problems or something. Like you said, he's a little bit over the edge.
Yeah, yeah, this guy is, I don't know. I mean, he just wants to reunite the old, USSR, man. I mean, you can't do that by, putting aggression on other people's countries and trying to change them and trying to make them who they are not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Like somebody comes into your house and say, hey, you know what? From today, you're not Christian, you're a Muslim. I mean, would you take it? I mean, I don't think so. You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's see what
That,
happens.
yeah. Well, that's good. You made it back safe. I know it's kind of a hotbed over there in that whole zone. You know.
Kind of, yeah, right. Kind of right now. I'm actually worried about my son. So I told my ex, I go, hey, something happens, keep a suitcase packed, and I mean, if the nuclear power plant goes off, man, I mean, just get a ticket and just go to Sri Lanka or something. I mean, it's just not safe. It's crazy.
Yeah. What I mean, since you were just kind of in that area, what do you think's gonna happen? What do you predict if you had to predict something?
I mean, I'm not really in a war. I do a lot of reading about geopolitics, and what I'm thinking is that he just wants to kind of like take over that region because he wants to show dominance. Like how China is always like taking over everything, right? They're investing in Africa, they're investing in Southeast Asia, they're buying countries, they're buying ports for like 99-year lease and stuff like that. So what they want to do is, eventually they know that America is actually situation right now. The country is divided. Our economy is really collapsing. Inflation is really high. People don't trust the government. So Putin knows that we are in a very vulnerable state, and he knows that we're not going to go rescue all these people. You know what I'm saying? So he's taking his stance right now, and he's doing it. Like eventually he just wants
Mhm.
to, pretty much show that, he wants to control. So China and
Yeah.
him put together, they just want to show the dominance. That's exactly, because we've been number one for the, it's been the American empire, man. It's been the American dynasty for the longest time. And then they just want to take over, and that's exactly what they want to do by trying to, like, so they'll take Ukraine, and if Ukraine backs up, they're gonna go to Serbia, take the Balkans like that, and they're gonna
Wow.
kind of like try to force their aggression into all these nations, man. So I mean, we have to fight.
So what do you think America should do? What do you think Biden's next move?
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea, but I think that Putin does not like democracy, and as like you grew up with freedom. I grew up with freedom. I mean, we can't really talk about discrimination and all that stuff. It's a different topic, but normally in general, we can, like, in this part of the world, we can do whatever we want, right? I mean, we can exercise our rights, right? We have our basic human rights, right?
Yeah.
But in
Yeah.
that part of the world, people don't really have their basic rights. They have to, like, kind of like listen to the government. They put fear on people. You know what I'm saying? So what
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
do is, it's Biden, he has a lot of experience in war, because he's been into international politics before all his life. So he has to play it safe, I guess. Like, he can show the world that we're gonna I mean, I don't think people in America would like him to go send our troops somebody else's cause because we've been doing that for a longest time, you know. So
Yeah.
I think, he's just gonna keep helping with the ammo, with the ammunition, with the weapons and all that, and with money maybe. But I don't think when it comes to fighting the Russians, I don't think he's gonna go fight. Because
Yeah.
why kill our boys for somebody else? You know, it's our people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Marcos, chime in. Any questions for Sanjay here?
No, hey Sanjay. I appreciate you being on and adding some some good insights into this. I'm with you. I think like the arms, and I heard like fuel and money and other set of support is about the extent of what's going to happen. And obviously we've seen like the Ukrainian forces sort of being able to keep the Russians back for at least a few days, right? It's only been a few days, but I guess the real question is really what's Putin going to do next? Is he going to like all out bomb them, or is he going to, these negotiations that are supposed to happen tonight or tomorrow, are they going to kind of become fruitful? But yeah, it is a kind of an interesting sort of view into a person, right? A dictator, if you will, as to his agenda. And you don't know really how far that his support cast, how big that is. Obviously it's a whole government, but then it's like, do the real civilians, whether they're Russian or Ukrainian, obviously the Ukrainians don't, but it seems like the Russian people don't want this either, right? In terms of the protests you see in the streets,
Yeah.
like in Moscow, they have been arresting those folks, but in other parts of
Yeah,
Russia, like
that's
St.
true.
Peter,
There's his own people are against it, right? Kind of.
you see these hockey stars and other
Yeah.
sports celebrities are talking out against it, even if it's real simple, like please no war, like what, real basic stuff. But I agree with Sanjay, just that like if you take this one country, then there's the history's there to start to go down to other countries. And that's where like everybody in that sort of like, I don't know what you call it, Central Europe or whatever, but like these countries that are not necessarily Russian but are on those borders, they got to take offense to it. Like, I mean, we have World War II and other events like that kind of show like people get kind of hungry for power. It can go very fast. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
You're right.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Because just want to add to that, Marco. I've been watching you guys with your podcast. I really like what you guys are doing. First of all, I told Rob, man, you guys are doing a great job. And just so it's not just the war. Also, on top of the war, these guys are making a lot of money because Russia is the third supply in the world for gas, right? Gas and
oh
fuel,
yeah.
right? So if you see, yeah, gas prices, man, it's just skyrocketing everywhere. Not just in the U.S., but everywhere in the world. Like I was in Serbia, man. People, in Serbia, their average wage is about $400 a month.
Wow.
Okay, that's their average
Wow, that's
wage.
nothing.
You
Yeah.
know, so it's nothing. So just imagine, if the cost of living is going high, how are people going to survive? I mean, forget about Serbia. Look at America, man. It's the same thing. We pay so much money for rent, we so much money for food, for gas and all that. And if these guys are the people who are providing us with gas and fuel and also corn and all that, and then, I mean, they control 17% of the world's distribution. Russia does. So
Wow.
they are so much reserves in their bank, close to about 680 billion, and that's all in gold, bro. It's all in gold. And if you see the gold and the silver market, it's just skyrocketing too. So they're actually making money from this war, to be honest with you. So it
Mm.
clearly shows that they always want to take us over. They just want to be number one. They want to be the dominance. But let me tell you something. I think he's doing it the wrong way. I mean, it's gonna backfire on him, because people are not. I mean, right now everything is. I mean, I am probably centralized, but now as you see, slowly, I think you guys are my age. I'm 43, right? So I was born in
Yeah.
70s, right? So things are changing right now. Everything is becoming more decentralized. People are getting into cryptos and Bitcoin, and we don't want to kind of like look at what's happening in Canada and Australia. People, they're freezing their bank accounts. The governments
Mm.
are coming and freezing their bank accounts. Can you
Oh
believe that?
yeah, I heard
Let's
that.
imagine
With
that's happening. Yeah, So all this is the plan that Putin has taken over just to divide our country. Even dividing our country, not trusting the government with the vaccines and all that. These are all just things that he has, used. I mean, you got to be careful now, because the next step is you got to have some cash in your hand, in the next, few days or few months, because they can have a cyber attack, and they can, they know that we use a lot of, because our money is more digital, like we use
Mm,
the banks, the ATMs, and the Americans are always using credit, right? More than cash. We live by credit. So they can kind of hack into the banking system. So it's always good to have some cash in some
yeah.
tangible stuff that we can use for day to day use. That's what I'm gonna do. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to get your hands on like gold, right? They said Putin has a lot of gold bars. And why does he have so much gold
yeah,
bars? Is he's going to do some cyber warfare, shut down,
that's
banks,
right.
technology.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about that,
Exactly.
yeah, the thing about that is like if you have the one up on your neighbor in terms of having that liquidity, then you're good. But if everyone is like, okay, everyone's pulling it out and my whole neighborhood is liquid, there's gonna be like fucking road warrior scenario apocalypse.
Mad
like
Max.
yeah, going
Yeah,
Yeah.
into your neighborhood and robbing everybody. So that's where like there's got to be a line.
exactly.
But I get what you're saying 100%. Yeah, because I kind of heard that too.
Yeah.
In your example of like the Canadian truckers is actually super interesting. Like because I mean to your maybe that's to your point is like why not get the if anyone is blocking any road in America, and we kind of saw this during the Black Lives Matter protests, like you kind of give up.
Exactly.
You kind of give up at a point and say the freeway's
Mm,
down. We're gonna wait because if you go in there with armed forces, that takes that problem and magnifies it by a 10,000. And so, like using these other instruments, I
Yeah.
mean, that's basically what we're doing in the Ukraine right now, right? Like we're if any support
Exactly.
we're giving, we're freezing bank accounts, and then we're also maybe on a light scale doing some cyber stuff, but we haven't like because I heard like that was an Obama thing where they put a lot of like these bombs in fucking the internet, whatever you want to call it, in these mainframes and other places that supposedly we can pull those triggers and really fuck some stuff up in Russia. But it's like once you start to do that, so everything's pinpointed at Putin, and even if it's cyber sort of focused or if it's his fucking where he gets his gasoline, it has to be focused on him and not the people in general. Whereas in the opposite, I think right now the front we're seeing from Russia on the Ukraine is like they're blowing up all the power infrastructure, they're blowing up airports. They haven't yet got into the where they're killing lots of civilians for no reason, but that could be a thing. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
super interesting to think about all these different like little avenues of how your life
I
can get
mean, I
fucked
mean,
up by this.
exactly, and it's not really a small thing that we can just ignore, because
Right.
this guy, if he's really crazy, if Putin is really crazy, to nuclear war, war. I mean,
that's scary,
nuclear
man. That's
weapons.
scary.
Yeah, yeah, right.
It's very scary. So this guy, I mean, look how I mean, I don't know that you guys saw, but I watched a video clip where he talked to his security council the other day, and he was just talking to him like he was just a piece of shit, and just go take a seat, which means that everybody has to go with his orders, right? So
Right.
so he doesn't really give a shit, because he's acting like a dictator. So I mean, if he's really crazy, and if he feels like his own out there protesting, his own people are protesting and say, hey, we don't want any war. I mean, obviously they don't want any war, because Russia and that whole region is almost like 30 years behind the free world already. Like they have.
Mm,
I mean, they're already been behind. So like if this war continues, they're going to be even kind of more ancient. You know what I'm saying? Like who wants a war in the 21st century when everybody is having a good war,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's scary.
I think
you
you
know
brought
who
up
who
yeah. Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I was just saying,
Sorry.
I just was thinking that, like, to your point, it's like there's got to be like another agenda to your, and again, like maybe it's the currencies and the other sort of financial instruments that'll benefit Russia, you know, whether it's commodities or whatever.
Yeah,
But it just doesn't make sense as
yeah,
like I love that point about just like Russia being behind. I mean, they really, really suffered after the Cold War. I mean, we saw like there's so many movies now
exactly.
about all the drug trade and how the drug traders really
Yeah.
benefited from that because they were able to get like heavy equipment. They were able to get like fucking weapons from Russia back then, or the USSR as it fell. And
Yeah.
it's like now, like, can we just fucking succeed for 30 years and get back to where we should be, or are we gonna
Yeah.
go fucking attack our neighbors? Like that's
Yeah, because
crazy.
can we? Yeah, can we just? I mean, let his people at least catch up to the rest of the world. You know, like why
Yeah.
just go back? And especially like trying to like this. And like I said, like it all comes down to it's power, you know, and greed, and also like you said, you know, it's all about like you know they don't really even if the Western world like Americans put sanctions on them, they don't really care because they have multi billion-dollar you know deals and trading going on with China, with India, from that part of the world. They're using their own currency because you know as you know when you put sanctions, they can't do trading because they use dollar as a trading currency, right? So if they say, okay, you know what, screw you guys, we're not going to use dollar as a trading currency. We're going to use our own currency. We're going to, you know, everything is digitalized right now. So we're going to have digital ruble or whatever you call it. And then, you know, we go with China or whatever. We just, you know, we do our own deals. We don't really need the Western world, you know? So,
Yeah.
but let's see what happens. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't become World War III, you know, just for the sake of our kids, you know? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if they team up with China, that could be a big powerhouse, you know, them in China.
yeah, but we got more power. We got the NATO, then we got Turkey with us, South
Somebody,
Korea, Japan.
Yeah.
It's gonna be difficult.
yeah, and I heard too, like with China, China's making hand over fist money. So why would they want to stop any of that? Right.
Yeah.
They're selling everybody everything.
Yeah, I know
So
China.
yeah. There's no
Yeah. They're
point in
making
them.
fake Jordans still, you know?
Yeah. They're making everything, iPhone,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just like they don't want to stop doing. They're not going to stop doing that. But I also think like these. I mean, possibly these little skirmishes are a test front for the technology that all these countries are developing. So if I can put my
Yeah,
weapon out in the fucking battlefield and it fucking kicks ass, then I know better. I mean, what we're not seeing right now
Yeah.
is like air warfare, but if you have anti-tank fucking weapons, or like I saw some little news thing where it's like a truck with like one of those little rectangles with 1,000 missiles in it, and they're like, well, these things they'll shoot out and then they'll suck the oxygen out of the air where it lands, and if people are there, it'll suck the oxygen out of those people. Like we're
Wow.
talking about some like serious
yeah,
shit, you know what I mean? Like they're
yeah,
working on this stuff,
yeah,
they need
yep.
somewhere to test it. So this is a perfect battleground in a fucking very dense urban population where if it gets to that, we're going to test everything, you know? So, but to your
Yeah,
point about
exactly,
the nuclear
exactly. But
stuff,
you know,
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry, man. Yeah,
No, no, no,
no,
no,
no.
no. I'm
I
good.
was
I'm good.
gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah, no, I was gonna say that China is also very strategic because they are waiting to see how America is gonna react. Because if we don't react in a certain way, you know what's gonna happen is they're gonna go for Taiwan next. Watch
Oh,
Mm.
for
yeah.
sure because they've been wanting Taiwan for good. So you know, so they're gonna say, okay, you know what, you know, Russia is invading Ukraine, and we're supposed to be their friends, and these guys didn't help them. Okay, right? You know what? Let's go for Taiwan. That's exactly what their move's gonna be next. I mean, that's what
Wow.
I'm thinking. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think.
That's a good
You
theory
know?
though. If we're
Yeah.
kind of being pussies about it, yeah, maybe China tries to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I think,
Yeah,
I think the
yeah,
one thing I was talking about, like the one thing on responsibility is like, or not responsibility, but the ability to, to fund those things is like United States. Why don't we go after Canada? Or why don't we go after Mexico? And I think there's a balance, right? So some of these countries,
exactly.
they can do those kind of things, but like we don't want to go after Mexico. What's the point of that? You know, there's like poverty, the infrastructure is probably not great. There's, you know, a few things you could probably benefit from, but the overall land mass and all everything that has to go with those things. But when we look at some of these arenas like Europe, you know, all these countries are pretty well off, you know, maybe except for, you know, a few. So that's where it's like the riskiest parts, right? Like, you know, Germany is a fucking still a powerhouse, right? Or, you know, like
Yeah.
through the course of all these old world wars, you know, there's always like, you know, the kind of Western Europe and stuff. But all those little countries around there, like once you start to kind of really muscle up to your neighbor, that gets it. And then Asia, I'll be honest, I don't really understand a lot of Asia, but you know, you do have China, you do have Korea, like Japan you mentioned. And then you have like a lot of other countries where you're kind of like, I don't really know how that benefits, but then it becomes more like strategic, right? And then India itself is like a monster. So it's like, you know, how does this stuff play off and whose side did people fall on when this all comes? And then
Yeah,
also like, how's that military
because
look?
see,
Yeah.
yeah, because see, also, you know, they have another plan because you know, China has a huge, you know, the what do you call that, the Silk Road project, right? Have you guys heard about the Silk Road project that they're
No.
working on? So the Silk, yeah, so the Silk, so if you can research on it, it's called the Silk Road. So back in the day, back in the Roman Empire, this is way back in the ancient times, the Silk Road was the road that they used for trading from Asia all the way to Europe, right?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
then it got
Mm.
shut down, right? So now, so that's why China is investing so much money in Central Europe, in Asia, like in Afghanistan, and all of those places because they are using the Silk Road goes right through that, right? Right through like China, Turkey, Afghanistan to the desert, like Pakistan and all that, you know, all the way to Europe. So that way, you know, their trading gets better, right? So they're actually it's a huge infrastructure project, you know, like you know, so when I was in Serbia, because my son is half Serbian, and when I was in Serbia, you know, they are making all these big freeways connecting to the Silk Road, you know, so these are all, you know, this is a plan, you know, it's a
Yeah, this
huge
is
plan, and
like a
they need,
chess move or something.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like
all digital chess, bro.
yeah,
Exactly,
that's crazy because like
exactly.
you think about California and how much money they want to put into infrastructure. And that was like that goes back to like Jerry Brown, I think his dad, and then him too, but less successful. But it's all this infrastructure like comes to play at some point. It's like if you had like five cards, one or two of those cards is the infrastructure card. Military is going to be a little bit of it. The social part's going to be another part of your hand. But like you're saying,
yeah,
like it's just interesting that these countries like China especially fucking monster dams, fucking you know, and yet they still have these segments of their country that are super poor, or there's like these alleged, you know, like cultural fucking atrocities that are going on. But it's just
yeah.
interesting that like at the end of the day, putting up a road is one of the best investments
I
for
like
your
how when
long-term game. You know, it's like crazy.
I like how when Sanjay's talking to you, he's talking secretive at points. Like his people around him might hear him. So
Yeah.
I like this. I like this. Very informative,
It's
Sanjay.
crazy
Very
because
informative.
these are all hidden agendas that we don't know about, and people are
Yeah,
so, you know, these guys, the prop, you know, with the propaganda, they're keeping the people busy watching the TV. Like for example,
yeah,
Right.
everybody's eyes is on the war right now, and we don't know what the hell they're doing behind the scenes, bro. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Right.
We
Right.
don't
yeah,
know because nobody's mindful because we are so busy with our own life, and we are always watching the TV. And you know, I mean, that's just a normal tactic that the Romans used to use back in the day, just to keep their citizens occupied and happy with all the entertainment and all that. And behind the scenes, they were doing all the controlling and things like that. It's crazy, man. I mean,
yeah,
man, it's just it's crazy, bro. Yeah, I mean, all we can do is, I think that, you know, look after ourselves, be united, and protect ourselves, and you know, just be as one, and just
yeah,
protect ourselves against all these crazy dictators, man. It's crazy, you know.
yeah.
I
Well,
have
hey
a
Sanjay, I want
wait,
to real
I have a
quick.
quick question. Real quick
Yeah,
question
go
for
ahead,
Sanjay.
Mark.
So Sanjay, without getting into your personal background, but I want to ask a little bit. So you said your son is half Serbian, and so did you meet your ex-wife in America, or did you meet her in like in Europe or somewhere in between?
No. So here's the deal. So I used to be a professional tennis player back in the day. You know, I'm an old man right now,
Wait,
and
wait,
all
say
that.
that. Sorry, say that one more
So
time.
so
Say that one more time.
no, I said No, I said I used to be a professional tennis player when I was a junior, and I
Oh,
used to travel
cool.
a lot. Yeah. So I played a lot of tennis with I played a lot of tennis in Asia, as same as in Europe too. So I grew up with a lot of Russians, a lot of Eastern Europeans, a lot of Koreans, Japanese, all kinds of ethnicities,
Yeah,
and
cool.
the way I met my, so I have two sons. My oldest son is 20, and my youngest son David is 6. So David's mom is the one who's Serbian. I met her actually through her sister who was living in California. They are twins.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's how I met my ex. Yes, yeah.
And now they're back in Serbia.
Yeah. My both sons were born in San Jose, and then obviously because she had to go back to Serbia, my son had to go with her too. Yeah,
Mm.
Okay.
correct.
No, I was just asking like where, yeah. So so like you said, they're impacted by this just based on their locality of where they're at currently. And it's stressful. So yeah, that's
No,
crazy.
it's crazy. It's crazy because the Serbians themselves went through the Yugoslavian war back in the
Right.
1990s. Remember?
Right.
Yeah. Because when the Kosovo war, right? So the Serbians were attacked by the NATO troops too, and then my ex used to hide in the bunkers, and they showed me a few other places that got bombed right next to their apartment complex. It's kind of
Oh
scary,
my
man. It's not
God.
Wow.
crazy. I mean, yeah. So they grew up during the Yugoslav war. So
Yeah. I
They
remember
have
that. Yeah.
real quick. I know the Serbs have a gritty side, right? There's a couple movies out like "Don't fuck with the Serbs," right? They got like a mafia, or
you
I don't
know,
know if you can talk on it, but I've seen that before. How like you don't mess with the Serbs.
no, Rob, only one person rules me. It's God. I'm not scared about the Serbs or the Albanians
Yeah.
or anybody. You know that, right? So 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 it's do or die, man. Either way you're gonna die, right? So I'm not really
Yeah.
scared to die. But let me tell you something. But the Serbs, they I thought the same thing, that they were racist. Like when I see, I'm a brown man, right? So when I go to
Yeah.
Serbia, I mean, especially when I go to the Serbian villages where my son lives in central Serbia called Chachak, I'm the only brown one there. Everybody is white, and so far I've been going there multiple times. People have been nice to me. They kind of look at me funny because I'm obviously a little bit different. But other than that, they've been nice to me. They've been polite to me. They've been very hospitable. They're nice people. It's not how the media, you know, portrays them to be. It's just like
Mm.
they. It's crazy because the media portrays them as big bad wolves, like they're bad people and all that in the movies and all that. But no, man, they're really nice people. They got culture like Latino culture, like the American culture, like the Asian culture. They love their family. They're always very warm. They have holidays like Thanksgiving and stuff like that, where people come together. They look after each other. They're very polite.
And
Nice people
Serbia
overall. Big
and
time.
S- and Serbia
Mm.
is like a beautiful country, right? I believe.
Oh
Uh,
my God, it's beautiful, man. It's
yeah, I've heard
beautiful
that.
country, man. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Good people. Beautiful. We're all good people. There are always few bad people like Putin, but everybody else is good, man.
There you go.
Yeah. I think that's the world, man. I think the world is a good, like, overall it's good. People are good. I mean, there's like racism, there's a lot of stuff like that. I think the power and the structure fucks everything up. But if you meet a man in the
Yeah.
street, unless they're a
Yeah.
psychopath, I think you can have dinner with them. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's
Oh,
Unless
probably
it's
a decent
Putin,
definitely.
unless
time.
it's Putin, you can't have dinner
You
with
might
him.
have to wrestle them with no shirt on. You may have to have a knife fight with them.
check the. Yeah,
Oh,
it's so weird because few months back, actually a few years back, we were scared of the Rocket Man, right? Kim Jong Un, right?
oh
And
yeah, yeah,
now
yeah.
we are
That's my
scared of.
buddy.
Yeah, now. Yeah, that's my boy too, man. And then this guy, and then Putin comes over, and yeah, he's more lethal than the Rocket Man. This guy, you can't trust him. It's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, you want
I
somebody
mean,
that just fires off a gun once in a while. You don't want somebody that brings all his friends with him to the party. Yeah, you don't want to let them in.
exactly.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Exactly. So I hope that they discuss, and I don't know what's going to happen when they discuss in Belarus. when they negotiate, and there's nothing to negotiate, they just got to leave the Ukrainians alone. Let them
Right.
be Ukrainians. They are not Russians. Leave them
Yeah.
alone. That's it. Simple.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
gonna.
no negotiations. I mean,
It's hard. I feel like it's
yeah.
gonna be like the ultimatum is it's gonna be kick the US and NATO out of your country and we'll be cool with you. And the problem is like, what's to stop you from coming back next week and fucking with me again? Like there is nothing else. Freedom, which is backed by all these people, or no freedom where I have to be your bitch. And so that's the part that, there's not going to be, like, to your point, but then it's kind of, again, like, how much does Putin want to fucking look like the asshole? And he's already done it, but it can get worse. And so, yeah, that's my personal dumb opinion, but I mean, who knows? I mean, at least they're talking, at least like 4 days in, they're talking, because they could really just go on for a long period of time. Well, hey, Sanjay, hey, thanks for. Hey, I'm sorry not to cut you off, but I do want to say thank you very much for joining us and bringing probably the best intelligent conversation we've had on the podcast so far. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks for getting back.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Yeah. We're good. Sanjay, we'll have to have you on again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got to have you on with a camera and maybe in Rob's his garage even. So we need to develop. Yeah,
I will make sure. Yeah, just let me know so I can put my makeup on before I go on camera. Okay. So
yeah. I want to see this.
Hey, thanks a lot.
I want to see your tennis swing just because you're ex-pro. So we got to at least see that too one time.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I'll make sure I'll put my Gandhi dot on and then I have put my makeup on and I'll say thank you. And I say thank you, come again, okay? All right.
Yeah. Stop it. That's Rob's talk. I don't want to hear that.
Oh man. I love it.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding, yeah.
No. Thanks for coming on last minute, Sanjay. Yeah, definitely good feedback and insight from a guy who just kind of left that region. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, God bless you guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, God bless you too.
Okay.
Keep up the good work.
All right.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye. See you.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that was dope. We got some some serious insight.
I knew we could pull it off. I knew we could pull something off where someone was in that region or connected. We got too many feelers. We got too many fans in support of the podcast. So that was really good.
I think some of the fans are going to be like, why the hell is the guy named Sanjay on here talking about Ukrainian politics? But like I said, like
he just got back from Serbia. I mean,
I know. And that's just it. It's like anybody who is part of this world and has those high level conversations with other people, smarter or not people, you start to develop like conversation, and I think that's where this podcast needs to bring.
He dropped some knowledge I didn't even know about.
Oh yeah, for sure. I didn't.
He definitely was saying stuff that he made sense.
Well, I mean, like, I think I'm really intrigued by his professional tennis career. That he traveled the world and met a lot of people and has family in an area that was once very civil war torn.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, right there, you're getting a lot of like understanding of that section of the section of the world.
Yeah. We'll get him on. We'll get him in. We'll get him in house.
Yeah. That's dope, man.
And he loves to talk too. He loves to talk. So
shout out to Rob for hooking that up. Big props, bro. Big props.
All right. Well, we touched on a touchy subject. It's current. It's now. And that was a good. I like talking that stuff.
If I die, then the Russians got me overnight. So it's not on my liver failed. I don't know. It's hard to prove. It's hard to prove which one got me.
Yeah.
But that was good. All right. 34. Shout out and love and respect and prayers to everyone in the Ukraine and Russia too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are fighting a war that they probably don't want to fight.
Yep.
So much love and safety and thoughts to them.
Yep.
And thanks everybody.
I'm gonna have a drink for them for sure.
This episode is brought to you by Kirkland Vodka. Shout out. All right, bro.
I love my vodka. All right. Enough.
The one Russian we knew, his name was Igor. We went to
Oh
I
my
think I told you
God.
this on the podcast before. We were coming back, so like the first, it was spring break. We go to San Felipe, Mexico. We're like going to the liquor store, getting a bunch of just like little bottles, and
Yeah.
he like gets so loaded. I think he like even like rolled. I'm like, I don't know if I'm lying or just a nervous twitch. I think he like got so wasted, like he fell off this like little deck.
Oh my God.
Like it wasn't high, it was like just a little deck, like a little walk up. And I think he rolled like under the deck. And then like I don't know what happened. I think we went into the bar and just left him. And we came back like the next day we saw him and he was like hungover. And we're like, dude, Igor, what happened to you? He's like, then we were like, oh, last thing we knew, we drank some rum, outside the liquor store. He's like, I drank rum. And then so he was like, he was totally butthurt that he wasn't drinking vodka. And then on the way into California from the border, they were asking us, everybody in the car, where you're from. So it's like me and AC and Alan and other people. We're all like, San Francisco, California, Modesto, California. And they go to him, he's like, Moscow, Russia. And they're like everybody out of the car. Yeah, they were like everybody out of the car, searched the whole car, and it was all good, but it was just so stupid. He's like, Moscow, Russia. He looked, motherfucker.
All you had to do is say San Jose.
He looked like fucking Dolph Lundgren from Rocky. You know what I mean? He's this big blonde dude in here. But it was funny.
Yeah.
Good kid. All right. Anyways. All right, bro.
All right.
34.
Glad we pulled it together.
Thank you.
Easily I approach the fifth of him because I ain't no joke.